This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And make sure to order Jamie Glazov's new critically acclaimed jihadist psychopath, how he is charming, seducing, and devouring us. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Tonight, fighting anti-Semitism on Canadian campuses. Lauren Isaacs, director of Herut, Canada, takes a courageous stand. With us this evening is Lauren Isaacs, Toronto director of Herut, Canada. Lauren, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Great honor to have you here. Look, Lauren, quite a bit to discuss with you. Let's just get right into it. First, tell us a little bit about Herut, Canada.
Sure. So Herut is an unapologetic Zionist organization. We're an educational organization, and we speak in universities and high schools, and we really educate about Israel, what's going on in the Middle East, and we are very pro-Israel. We're Zionistic. We're trying to connect people to Israel, dispel myths and lies that are popular in the media or popular on campuses, and we're really trying to be educational and positive.
Okay, so to do this on campuses is quite a thing, as we will see in a moment when we discuss with you what happened at your York University event. But tell us, for instance, one thing that you're trying to educate people about in terms of the Arab-Israeli conflict, in terms of Israel and Zionism. Like, look, I know this takes maybe 3 hours, but could you just give us one idea of, let's say, something important that you're trying to get across to people on campuses?
Sure. So one of the main things we teach about is the word Zionism itself, what it means, what it represents, and the movement. A lot of people have taken the word Zionism, they've misunderstood it, they've misdefined it, and ultimately it gets all entangled up and it becomes anti-Semitic. Zionism is just the Jewish people's right to self-determine in Israel. It's a civil rights movement like any other movement, and that's what we're trying to educate about. We're trying to take the narrative back and show that it's a positive, moral, ethical freedom movement. That's really a good thing.
Okay, now look, Lauren, you made international news last summer. You held up a Herut Canada flag on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, and the Hamas channel, for instance, ran that picture and went crazy over that. What happened there?
I was in Israel, and I was on the Temple Mount, which is the holiest site for Jewish people. It's where our ancient temples stood, hence the name Temple Mount. And I had my Herut Canada flag with me. I always carry it with me, and I was inspired and I was proud to be an ancient Jewish historical site. So I held it up for a picture. It was not meant to be inflammatory or disrespectful in any way. I think the opposite. It was very respectful to showcase pride about my heritage. So when I held up the Herut Canada flag, the internet went crazy. I started receiving death threats and a lot of hate mail, and this was all just because of a smiling picture with a flag.
Right, I can imagine. You know, Lauren, it's interesting. There's an ancient Jewish presence at the most Jewish holy site. It goes back historically. This is a Jewish holy site, and yet what you're doing for some reason is considered a bad thing. We know that the police actually discriminate against Jews on the Temple Mount. They limit the number of Jewish worshipers that are allowed on the Temple Mount at one time. They often close the mount in response to Muslim riots that are designed to force the Jews out. What's going on here?
Right. It's absolutely unbelievable. There's religious freedom everywhere in Israel, except on the Temple Mount, and the religious freedom is limited for Jews. We are not allowed up there on certain days, at certain times. We're not allowed to pray on the Temple Mount at all. We're not allowed to take religious artifacts up. The Jordanian Waqf, the Jordanian police force, controls the Temple Mount, and they follow you around if you're Jewish or if you're a tourist to make sure you're not praying or you don't have any religious items with you. It's crazy. This is discrimination in its most basic form.
Absolutely. Now, look, Lauren, I also was in academia. I also went to university, and as a conservative, I can tell you, I experienced certain things. Let's just put it that way. And so I think it's a lot worse now. And you're a part-time student at York University. I can only imagine what you're going through by standing up for Israel and other issues that are not, leftist. And so thank you for your bravery. So look, in November 2019, you held an event at York U. You invited former Israeli soldiers to the university to discuss their experiences. And what happened at this institution where they're supposed to be welcoming ideas when you did that?
Well, we invited 4 former Israeli soldiers to speak about their experiences, anti-Semitism, and their lives. And conscription is mandatory in Israel, meaning everyone serves in the army. So everyone is technically a former soldier. Really, we invited Israeli civilians to speak about their experiences. And the university, everyone lost their minds. There were a ton of protests erupting against us. There were violent riots that broke out. The rioters stayed for 3 hours throughout our whole presentation, and they tried to disrupt and intimidate us. They banged on the walls. They blocked our access from getting in. We had to have 40 cops and security guards just to protect the event and to lead us out through a back door afterwards to protect us. It was insane. And this is the state of universities. They claim that there's academic integrity and there's an exchange of ideas and tolerance, but this just illustrates that there isn't. If you're Zionistic, if you're pro-Israel, you are silenced or you're intimidated into silence. It's very upsetting.
Right, Lauren, and your lives were in danger at that time, and the students there, certain students, and I could guess that they belonged to the religion of Islam because of some of the things they were screaming, because there were shouts of "Viva, Viva Intifada." Am I correct?
Yes, they chanted that throughout the night.
There were screams of "Go back to the ovens." Am I correct?
Yes.
And there were screams of "Globalize Intifada."
Yes.
Lauren, these chants, okay, go back to the ovens. We know what that means. There's no mystery there. Viva, Viva Intifada, Globalize Intifada. This is a call for genocide against the Jewish people, or am I mistaken?
Yes, there were 2 intifadas, 2 violent uprisings in Israel's history, and more than 1,000 Jews and Israelis were murdered during these intifadas through suicide bombings, through gunshots, knife attacks, car rammings, you name it. It was an uprising of terrorism at the time. So to call for an intifada on a Canadian campus is to call for the murder of Israelis.
Right, so, okay, so let me see here. Your group invites some Israelis to come and talk a bit about Israel. There are mobs screaming for the death and genocide against Israeli people and against Israel. Your group is violently attacked, and the administration, thank God, took action after this. And what did they do? They banned your club. Please explain the logic to me here.
I don't think I think it defies logic. They banned us and the Palestinian group who protested us. Now,
so this is one sec. I'm sorry to interrupt. So somebody beats somebody up, and then they ban both people from wherever this happened, right? The victim is also punished.
yes, this is akin to putting a rape victim and her rapist both in jail during the course of the trial. It's egregious, it's offensive, it's unbelievable. So this was another example of the university's transparent anti-Israel bias and anti-Semitic proclivities, because they banned us and we did nothing wrong. We never violated the student code of conduct. We didn't hurt anyone. We didn't disrupt anything. And there was never any evidence presented to us of any wrongdoing, not even a single piece of evidence.
Lauren, well, look, the academia is a place that invites all these diverse ideas and diversity, and apparently the York student government passed a motion which really, I guess, is going to help matters, because they've banned Israelis from speaking on the York University campus. Am I correct?
Yes, a couple days after our event, they unanimously passed a motion banning all Israelis from speaking on campus from henceforth.
So, can you imagine if the York University student government passed a motion banning, let's say, Muslims from speaking on campus? So Israelis are not allowed to speak on York University campus.
Yeah, that's the motion, and it stands right up until today. Of course, it's outrageous. God forbid they pass this motion about any other group of people. There would be an outcry, an uproar. It would never stand. But because it's Israelis, it's okay.
What scary times we're living in. We definitely see anti-Semitism, Jew hatred skyrocketing on so many realms. Now, look, at York University, though, let's crystallize this here. It wasn't just the Palestinian students and the leftist students or what have you, whoever were members of that mob that were censoring you and putting you in danger. It's the actual university administration itself that is enabling this and is complicit with it and is also taking the lead in terms of this anti-Semitism and censorship, correct?
The university is, I don't absolve them of anything. I agree with your words. They are encouraging it. They're giving a green light for anti-Semitism to fester and flourish on their campus. There is a hateful mural that is against Israelis that hangs up in the student center. They have Israel Apartheid Week. It's more like Israel Apartheid Month. They have BDS resolutions singling out the country of Israel. The whole campus culture contributes to anti-Semitism.
So there's a mural up on a wall at York University, right? I researched that. I took a look. It's actually advocating terrorism against Israelis and Jewish people.
Yes, it's a violent, insightful mural that they refuse to remove.
Lauren, I'm also interested in how totalitarians and terrorists call people the names that they are themselves. You have been called a Nazi by the people who are protesting against you. What do you make of that?
I think it's, well, I'm an Orthodox Jew. I'm a religious Jew. So to be called a Nazi is not only ignorant, it's changing reality, and I've been called a wealth of things that, a white supremacist or a colonizer, all these crazy things. And that's one of the weapons in the arsenal of the progressives, the leftists, and the Islamists who want to demonize us. They use all these terms and these labels to try make us seem a certain way. Obviously, I'm not a Nazi. I denounce Nazism. I have family and friends, unfortunately, who were in the Holocaust. It's just absurd.
It's absurd, absolutely, and it's many other things that they use these terms, calling you something, and that what they're calling you is the force that killed your people. It's the evil that the left engages in and these other forces engage in is really something else. Lauren, how brave you are, how courageous you are. Let me ask you, there are many, I think we could say, Jewish people who are leftist, that are completely on the other side, which is kind of a mystery in itself, but when we begin to understand the left, we understand what they're doing. But that's for another show. There are also leftists, there are also Jews on campus, Lauren, I think would be fair to say, that are very scared, have been cowed and intimidated and don't say anything. Somebody like you takes a stand and in many respects puts your life on the line. What makes you who you are? What has given you this courage to be such a brave hero?
Thank you. I don't consider myself brave. I consider myself part of the Jewish people, and being part of my people comes with certain responsibilities. I am part of a tribe, and we have a history and a story to tell, and all of us have to do our part for real social justice, not the bastardized version, but real ethics, morals, doing good for the world and for our people. And I have a responsibility. If I can speak out against things that are false and damaging and dangerous, then I have to do that, because there are so many of those who can't speak, and there are 6 million who were silenced and who will never speak again. So I have to speak now.
Lauren Isaacs, what an amazing person you are. The Glazov Gang loves you. It supports you. Thank you for your thank you for your nobility, for your courage, for your bravery, for standing up. Also, not just for the truth and for Israel, but for those who cannot speak and that are voiceless. For all the Glazov Gang audience that's watching right now that wants to support you and enable your truth-telling and everything that you're doing, where do they go?
Well, they can contact me directly. I can be found online. Also, visit our website, Herut North America website. It's Herut NA, and they can get involved. They can become members. They can come out to our events. We're looking for people to get involved, and we always love to inspire people in the community.
Okay, Lauren, stay strong and keep at it. Thank you very much for everything that you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It was an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Glazov Gang. Reach out to Lauren Isaacs at Herut, Canada, and support everything she's doing and her group is doing. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon on the Glazov Gang. Good night.